Welcome to this week's Maryland's Missing and the Murdered. Maryland's Missing and the Murdered is a weekly YouTube channel that covers the topic of missing and murdered individuals from the state of Maryland. This week, I'm covering the murder of Tracey Kirkpatrick. Tracey Kirkpatrick was a 17-year-old from Frederick, Maryland, working part-time in Aileen Ladies Sportswear, which is now a Sally's Beauty, on the evening of March 15, 1989. She was to close that evening. Her mom brought her dinner around 6 p.m., and Tracey's boss came into the store and checked on her at 8 p.m. At 10:30 p.m., a security guard for the strip mall, Don Barnes Jr., noticed that the lights were still on in Aileen's. The doors were still unlocked, and he went in. In the storeroom at the back of the store, Don Barnes Jr. found Tracey murdered. She had been stabbed multiple times in the chest and back. Police were called and the investigation began. When Tracey did not come home, her parents headed into Frederick to look for her. When they saw the police at Aileen's, Tracey's mom went into shock. Police learned during their investigation that there was no sexual assault and cash was in the register, so there was no robbery. There was no record of any sales after 8 p.m. either. A search of the area around the store led to blood droplets in the hallway behind the store. It was a hallway that connected the stores in the strip mall and led to the dumpsters. DNA was taken from the scene. 3 months after the murder, an interesting tip came in. A man called a confession hotline and said his name was Don from Frederick, Maryland, and he had killed a girl. What was interesting about it was the security guard who found Tracey was named Don.
Hello, my name is Don, and I'm calling from Frederick, Maryland. I know this is going to sound surprising, but 3 months ago, I stabbed a girl to death. And you might think that in making this tape, I'm setting myself up to be caught. But there are a lot of guys named Don in Frederick. The girl I killed was working in a ladies' sportswear store. I often came by and talked to her when she was working alone. And one night when she was in the storeroom and we were talking, our conversation turned into an argument. And so I took out a knife that I have with me at all times, and I killed her. And a few days later, I realized that I had created a lot of sadness. And I thought about turning myself into the police. But whatever they do to me, that won't bring Tracey back. So I decided that I better keep free because we have the death penalty in Maryland. Thanks for listening. I'm sorry about what I did, but nothing can change it. Bye.
Investigators tracked down the caller, whose name was not Don, but no evidence could link him to the crime. What is interesting to me is that the security guard's dad was Don Barnes Sr., and he was a police chief in the area. Don Barnes' daughter told police that her dad was abusive and told them that he had time to cover up the crime. A family friend of the Barnes stated in an interview that Don Barnes Sr. would cover up any crimes that his son had committed. The family friend also stated, however, that he doubted that Don Barnes Jr. could have done it. In 1994, a retired police detective who worked on Tracey's case said he knew who Tracey's killer was, but a cover-up had occurred. As of today, Tracey's murder is still unsolved, and her family is hoping that the DNA collected those years ago will finally reveal who murdered Tracey. If you have any information on this case, please contact Detective Alcorn at 240-674-2612. Thank you for joining me this week. If there is a Maryland's missing or murdered case that you would like to see on this channel, email me at marylandsmissing@gmail.com. Music is by Silent Vengeance. Sources will be listed in the outro. Please like and subscribe. Click the bell so you'll be notified when the next cases are released. I will see you again next week. Be kind to one another. You never know what will happen tomorrow.